Hello guys, this is me going over the gear I used in the formed invitation and shaper video, inspired by John Grown's Deadeye Helix build, and I think it's an extremely powerful build for extremely cheap. And I would like to go over how I acquired my gear, what I paid for it, and what you can expect to pay for the gear that is going to net you a conservative estimate of around 12.6 million DPS. This is with assuming Spectral Helix hits 2 times. Now, I'm using a tornado setup in my links, and some people claim that the tornado basically deals enough damage to count as an extra hit. So I saw some people counting in their POBs like 3 times Spectral Helix DPS and stuff like that. But I don't care about the number. Like, I care about practice, and what you saw in that formed and shaper video, that is pure practice. That's insane amount of damage. Now you can like play many builds and delete bosses like that and stuff, but it's extremely impressive about this build is how I got here. Like, I didn't really play much since the league started. I usually play a lot on league starts, but due to real life obligations, I had to work on the weekend. I'm working shifts and stuff like that. I didn't really have much time, and I acquired all this just progressing through to tier 16 maps and doing stuff like on the way. I invested some stuff into my atlas, and I didn't spend everything just on gear. So you get my point. You can get to this point of DPS, to this point of gear naturally. You don't need to farm for excessive amounts of time, what some people call stalling when you hit red maps. This build goes from level 1 to level 100 like so smooth and so progressive that it's better than any build I played. And I play like top tier builds exclusively over the last like 8-9 years. I've played Path of Exile. Like, if the build is not good, I just won't touch it. I've done my fair share of weak and janky builds, and I just don't have time or patience to do it anymore. So when I saw Junk's initial POB, I saw the numbers, evasion, armor, and all that, and the effective HP, and it looks so strong. And basically it was all self-crafted gear, but I'm playing in a trail league, so I have a more leeway. So let's go over the gear. This is a 1 Exalt Claw that I put 1 Exalt 20% attack speed. I divided with Harvest. I've been getting a lot of harvests without even specing some nodes. I think the rate of harvest spawns is buffed, and I do every Kirak mission that gives harvest, so yeah. That's how I actually crafted some of my gear and how I made some early currency. That enchant you see on the claw is like what I got from harvest and stuff. This is, I think, 60 or 70 chaos buckler, and doesn't look amazing, but look at the evasion rating on this guy. And it's just like accuracy and spell suppression and dexterity. And some people would be like, what, this is a garbage shield, no attack speed, no double damage, well focused, no max res or stuff like you people want to shields, and you just want accuracy and dexterity and suppression, or like strength or intelligence, whatever the fuck rolls. You don't care, you want attributes. And this is because of this item. This is the most insane item I ever saw that released, and they made the tier of the drops so goddamn common. This drops so much, there's like 500 on the market already. I paid like 15 chaos for this. This item is so goddamn powerful. Just look at that number on the bottom. 7.4 million DPS. Like, there's no way you can build this build any other way without like mirror tier gear, that you can use anything that is going to replace this amulet and make more damage and get more damage. And the best part isn't even just the damage, is that your attributes also scale your elemental resistance. Now let's see how much res I have on the rest of the gear. No res here. No res here. No res here. Okay, one like tier 5 roll. Chaos res, cool. And like tier 5, 6, whatever it is roll, and the taming, and chaos rays again. So basically taming and 2 rolls on the gear, and I'm not just capped, I'm over capped. Like this is amazing. Like this gives you people say like you need to stack attributes on gear, you need to stack accuracy, you need to stack this shit, you need to like build around this item. No, you're looking at it the wrong way. This item enables you to care so much about cheap affixes instead of caring like getting exact perfect accuracy tier 1 rolls, resistance tier 1 rolls and shit to like just cap your resistances. Now you get to care about shit that nobody like cares. Like this is a tier 1 dexterity roll, and this is a tier 1 accuracy roll, but people don't really mind that much. They don't really value that much. I bought these gloves for 20 chaos. I mean, these gloves are literally perfect for my build. I removed these gloves, 89 hit chance. I mean, seriously, like these gloves give me like 3.7 million DPS. 20 chaos gloves, people, 20 chaos. And I also got to stack so much chaos resistance. Like I have tier 1 roll on my boots and I have tier 1 roll on my belt. I actually rolled this belt myself. I literally ogre-eagled my Desert Brigand in like just couple of alterations until I hit spell suppression and I regaled the stupid stun and block recovery. And boots, I paid like 30 or 40 chaos for it. Like I went, not gonna go piece by piece, but I went over it, and as far as I can remember, it was between 7 and 8 exalts, including the Little Pride, including the 1x cluster jewel here, and a 30 chaos medium cluster jewel here, all included. Between 7 and 8 exalts. Let's say 8 exalts counting the crafts and the flasks. Like that's 1.5 million DPS per exalt. I've never played a build scale so fast, so well, so cheap. Like, yeah, maybe it caps out, but it really doesn't. Like, more levels, I'm on level 93, and I can get another medium cluster jewel, which gives me like, I'm not sure how much, 2.4 million DPS. That's gonna go to like 15 million DPS. And I can get like better gear. I mean, look at this ring. This thing is garbage. Like after 1 week in the league, you wouldn't pay 5 chaos for this. It's a goddamn gold ring. Like no influence, nothing, crafted elemental damage with attacks. This ring gives me about 25% less DPS than taming. So yeah, 1.3 versus 1.7. I mean, Jesus Christ. Taming is like more than 100. It's like more than 100% damage on this build because you also shock and ignite. So I could get like even higher elemental damage roll here. Ideally I want a Mark of the Elder and a Shaper ring because it's going to be stronger, but I would need a Shaper ring similar to this, and that's going to be hard. Like it's like day 4, 5, whatever of the league. I'm going to wait like a few more days until it settles down. I'm going to use Mark of the Elder with this ring because the taming covers a lot of res, so I'm going to need like get a better belt, a bit more res on the belt, a bit more res on the boots or gloves or whatever. Basically a couple more resistance rolls, like 1 or 2 to replace the taming. And then it can like reach 20 million DPS with like maybe 5 more exalts, 4 to 5 exalts, like Elder, Shaper, and few pieces of gear. Like I can get a better chest than this for like 2x. I can get a perfect chest for this build. Suppression, life, attribute, resistance, like literally perfect. That's a garbage chest. Nobody cares. Like they're just gonna charge for the 6-link, not for the chest, because that's something nobody really needs or wants on their build. But yeah, this build, all it needs: suppression, life, attributes, and few resistance rolls, because amulet is goddamn broken. Little Pride, also nothing special, just 5% double damage node and 5% strength here. Still gives me like 2 million DPS, so yeah. I didn't have more divines to roll it. Eventually I went to at least 2 double damage rolls, and maybe like intimidate somewhere, so I can replace these gloves for some better implicits. I would really want, ideally I would want fizz to cold conversion implicit, so I can roll explode chest. I also use this node Devastator, so I want to explode because Spectral Helix's clear is not bad, but it's not great by any means, and a bit explode helps so much. Like it's probably gonna double my clear when I get explode chest and when I get a cold conversion on my gloves or lightning conversion or whatever, because this item also gives you global elemental penetration, and just converting a tiny bit of fizz to cold with all that penetration is going to make your clear amazing, like so much better. And I thought about going lightning strike, but I played it last league and I actually hate lightning strike. Some people hate Helix, but I find it a much better skill just because it allows you to boss so efficiently and so good. It's like amazing for invitations, simulacrums, bossing, any static content, like where you fight in an arena. It's a super amazing skill, and lightning strike sucks ass in maps that I like. For example, my favorite map this league is Port, and if you haven't tried playing lightning strike at Port, you're not gonna have a good time. Lightning strike is like a Strand and Jungle Valley and dunes and shit like that skill, where there's no rocks and clean terrain. Play it in the maps I like, and it's gonna be stuck on pebbles like half the time. Use your lightning strike and you're wondered where did it go? Oh, it's stuck on a rock and it's shooting nothing, shooting like all the projectiles and the rock is blocking it. So yeah, I've been enjoying Helix, and the build definitely wasn't bait. Like Jung was right, this is a strong build. Yeah, he died, and it's not really SSFHC bulletproof because it's good versus fizz and attacks, but elemental damage kind of, you know, iffy, and these days there's more and more scary elemental damage. I mean, the new bosses are pretty much all elemental damage as far as I know. So yeah, but Trade League, you get to solo everything with DPS, and you still get an insane like pool of life, like 27k effective max hit take and 133k effective hit pool. Like this is versus like Shaper Guardian. I find this pretty good. Like these are numbers that I can solo 200 in maps easily, and I'll be doing just that, and also doing hard content on the way. So yeah, overview of the build. I'm gonna post the POB in the thread. You can look at it. You can see like what kind of gear you need to work towards. Like for less than 10 exalts you get insane amount of DPS. You get a good build that's survivable, that can do literally anything in the game. Like this build is pretty much 25 plus simulacrum viable, probably 30 with better gear and more life and stuff like that. And yeah, thanks for listening.